Sean Sewell with Engearment.com. In this video, I'm going to go through a comparison of what I consider the top wireless microphones for 2023. We have the DJI wireless microphone system right there. We have the Rode Wireless Go 2, which is what I'm currently shooting on. Just to show you what it looks like, here is an A7R5 Sony camera with the DJI microphone on it. And you'll see we're shooting on an A7 IV right now. The cable will go into the camera just like that. We also have a new one, the Kimafun microphones, which were sent over about $110 price point. We have the Hollyland, of course, and the Comica, which we really like for the money as well. We have different detailed comparison videos on all these as well from previous videos, but in this video comparison, we're going to see how they all compare. Oh, and the Joby. We got the Joby as well. So it's a lot of microphones, and probably a lot of them you are looking at, seeing on Amazon. You're probably curious, how do they sound? Well, let's find out. A lot to cover. Let's get into it. If you're new to this channel, thanks for stopping by. We do a lot of gear reviews. We have over 1,300 gear reviews, and we do a lot of comparison reviews too, because if you're looking at something, chances are you're looking at the next thing over and you're wondering, how different are they? Is this one better for the money, or is this one better for this reason? Well, hopefully in this video we will go through and explain, and you can determine which one sounds the best for your needs and for your budget. So for reference, I'm currently shooting audio into Sony A7 IV, which will look a lot like this, using the Rode Wireless Go 2, which is my favorite system. I think the sound quality is just really good. Here's the microphones and the receiver. It'll come either as a receiver and a microphone, or a receiver and two microphones. I would always go for the two microphones just for redundancy, as well as in case you interview somebody else. The dead cat is removable. Unlike the Rode Go 1, this dead cat stays in place and is easy to use, and I find it very, very helpful for shooting in windy situations. So all these microphones do come with a wind cat of some sort, and so we just twist it on and it stays in place right there. Battery life is about 5 hours. I use these all the time for professional interviews. You can use them for weddings, you can use them for teaching. I'm a fitness professional by trade. You can probably see the kettlebells and maces behind me. When we're at our gym shooting videos for our clients and students, we use wireless microphones. If you're a content creator, you're probably using them as well. The Rode is great. Some positives. USB-C charging, these are all USB-C charging microphones. Battery life is good. You have a screen readout so you can see the levels. Level-wise right now, I'm shooting on level 1 out of 3. Also converted that to be negative 12 decibels into the camera, and nothing's clipping. And just to be clear, I always adjust audio in post-production. Doesn't have to be fancy, with software, but you just want to always make sure your levels are nice and high, not clipping, but high enough where it's not distracting to the listener as they're going through YouTube videos or Instagram videos or what have you, and all of a sudden your video is just super quiet. Make it clean, make it sound good, and adjust your audio levels. However, for this video, I'm not going to adjust any levels, and that's just to show you consistency on the microphones, because it'd be really easy for me to color the sound and adjust it, and you would not get fair representation. All right, so that is a little rundown spiel, and plenty of time on the Rode Wireless Go 2, which I consider is the most accurate sounding of the microphones in this group. Next up, we'll go over to the DJI, which are the most expensive. The Rode Wireless Go is about $300, sometimes on sale for less. The DJI is going to be $330 at the time of this video. Benefits of this system is it comes with a charging case, and everything nests in there very well, so you get 2 microphones, 1 receiver. You also get an adapter to utilize with your iPhone or iDevice, and then you also get a USB-C, which is great for Android and other devices as well. So battery life with the DJI is also around 5 hours, and I use them all the time for professional situations, as is they are smaller in comparison to the Rode, which is often going to be a little more appreciated by the talent. So there are the 2 microphones right there. As you can see, the DJI is smaller. It also has a windscreen that rotates on, and I use that all the time. The only complaint I can think of with the DJIs. I wish the windscreen fit in here in the case, and that would just be my favorite thing ever. But let's transfer over to the DJI so we can learn how it sounds. Now we are using the sound from the DJI wireless microphone, and just for comparison, you can see the size of the microphone. Here is the Rode Wireless Go 2, and there is the DJI. So quite a bit smaller with the DJI. Makes them putting in place nice and discreet. It's also a very small magnet right here, so you can put the microphone right here and the magnet on the outside of the shirt, and so the talent just has a little black square, nothing showing. And as long as they're not too hairy like I am, it'll not rustle up against the microphone. You can always put the windscreen on and keep that hair noise to a minimum. But I also want to show you real quick what it looks like on the screen of the Rode Wireless Go 2. As I'm talking, you can see the meters go up and down, and you can see the levels I had set there. Actually 2 out of 3 is how I had that set. So just want to show you that for reference. But again, this is the DJI microphone. Comes with this case. It's $330. The sound is very clean. Range is really good too. Like I mentioned, 5 hours of runtime. I often want to have people walking around a gym facility 50 feet away, no problem. Their back's facing the receiver, no problem. Even with other electronics in a room, the Rode and the DJI have been proven. I trust them to use them in professional settings. I have 2 sets of each. Actually, I have 4 sets of the Rode because I just rely on it so much. Up next, oh heck, what should we do? We'll do the new one. We'll do the Kimafun. This guy just came in, and I'm actually pretty excited to try him out and see how he sounds. He's also among the cheapest. I think $115, so a third the price of what I'm using right now, the DJI. Half the price of some other ones. Let's see how it sounds. Part 3, the Kimafun microphone. So it is actually about the size of the Rode Wireless Go 2. There you go for comparison. It is a little bit lighter weight than the Rode though. So there's the Rode, this is the Kimafun. It has you can put a lavalier microphone, which they include 2 lavaliers, so I'll test that up next. It's very lightweight, feels very kind of plasticky compared to the Rode. You on the side, you get up and down volume control, and you get an on-off button that's also the mute button. I have it on level 2 on the readout for this. It goes to level 5. I'm going to go with level 2. Tried 3, 4, and 5, and it didn't look like it was too much gain on the receiver for the Kimafun, but on the Sony monitor, it looked like it was getting pretty hot. So I find it's always good to record a little bit lower going in the camera. You can boost it later. Even in iMovie, you can boost the audio. So you got that going for you. In the case, you get quite a bit of stuff. So charging cables go lower. There are your wind muffs that will secure onto the microphone. You get the cable to go to the camera, as well as a cable to go to a smartphone, although you'll need an adapter like a dongle for the iPhone to go in there. Another set of wind muffs, and then a charging cable. I hope it's the kind of cable that's a 3-in-1. It is. Oh, I like that a lot. So you go 1 USB-A into 3. So you can charge all 3 devices at one time. You don't need 3 cables. That right there is always impressive. I like that quite a bit. And then let's see how the lavalier microphone sounds. This could be very helpful, or it could be garbage. We shall see. And I love this guy case. The Rode, although it's great, doesn't have a case. I've tested some cases that charge it. And they're okay. The DJI has a fantastic case. Some strong plastic. Just tear into it like a wild beast that I am. Get out of here. All right, here we go. So we have the lavalier microphone right here. This is going to be really helpful. It could be a good microphone. We'll find out in a second. But this can be really helpful if you don't want to have this microphone on your person. Say you have minimal clothing on. Say you have a sports bra on and you're teaching a yoga class and you don't want a big microphone sitting on a strap. Guys or girls, I'm not trying to make this sexist, but it's just sometimes nice to have just a smaller microphone. And you can route the cabling around your back, around the front, going to the lapel. And they had that tightly round. And it comes with 2 of these. So that is a bonus. The Joby comes with 2 of these as well. The Comica and Hollyland, the other ones, do not come with that. So I'm going to place this just right here. Nothing too crazy. Yeah, that's a good spot. And here we go. We're going to plug it into this. Where's the microphone right here? 1, 2, 3. Did it transfer over? It did. Okay, so now we can put this anywhere we want. You can put it in a belt loop right there. You can route the cable. Then your hands are free and there's nothing getting in your way. So especially if you're doing active presentations, like I mentioned, less clothing, or you want more discreet, you want to put it behind the talent's lapel or behind their tie or their collar. And or, you know, if you're like me or just going to swing a kettlebell, it's nice to not have a heavy object like this just kind of coming down. I know there's been numerous times where I've mic'd up the talent and the microphone just kind of flops down or catches on their chest hair. There's some pretty hairy dudes out there, like myself. But here is the lapel microphone on this unit, the Kimafun, I hope I said that correctly. The model is KM-G50-2. So this must be a 2nd generation. Like I mentioned, it has a 2nd lapel microphone. It has 2 microphone by himself as well, so you can use that by itself. You can do the windscreen on that microphone as well. This one has a built-in windscreen, which is actually very, very, very helpful. Of course, you can take it off if you're not going to encounter any wind, but since it's so small, I would just keep it in there because a person does make contact with it. It usually muffles the sound or keeps muffling at bay. Okay, so up next we'll do the Comica, which I think is a very fair price point. Nice charging case right there as well. It sinks when we pull it out. It is even smaller than the DJI. It is much smaller than the Rode, and it is smaller than this Kimafun. So I'm curious, how was the Kimafun compared to, well, the Rode and the DJI, which are double and triple the price? But up next we will do the Comica, which is a very similar price, and then we'll do the Hollyland, and we'll finish up with the Joby. So let's get into the next part. All right, the next section here, Comica. This little guy right here, it's a nice small case. You open it up and you see you can fit the receiver and 2 microphones in there. The microphones are really small, especially compared to the Rode or the previous one, the Comica we just did. Look at this thing. It's super tiny. Focus, there we go. For comparison, the Rode. Yeah, so the Comica is really, really small, very lightweight. Battery life I found on this guy is around 5 hours as well. I know on paper they're going to say like 7 or 8 for a lot of these brands, but in the real world, I always estimate lower, and I've had plenty of microphones die when doing like a full day seminar or full weekend seminars. For that matter, I always find that having a backup of that same system is helpful. That's fully charged, ready to go. And if you're lucky enough to have a lunch break, swap out the microphones for the talent and then charge the first set and just keep that pattern going. That's usually kept me pretty safe. Sometimes working seminars or do events that have no breaks. That's rough. In that case, you got to get some additional microphones, you know? So, and also with that in mind, it gets pricey. So these Comicas I find are really helpful. I see the meters on the screen right there are looking good. Again, I'm not adjusting any audio in this video. It's just how it sounds. The level I believe is, I think 2 out of 4 or 2 out of 5 right now for the Comica. And once you pull it out of the case, it automatically syncs. You saw it go from red to blue, and now it's going to have 2 microphones, so it might sound weird for a second, but it's a really easy to use system. The case feels pretty plasticky compared to the DJI. This one's got a lot of heft to it. This one's very light, but it's smaller. It is smaller than the DJI, and it has everything that the DJI has as far as 2 microphones, 1 receiver, same battery life, has a readout screen. The DJI has the most elaborate readout screen. The Rode has the second most. Then the Comica. The one we just did, the Kimafun, has a interesting readout right here. It looks pretty cool because it's got different colors, but it's really basic. But again, if you set your levels once and you test, then I don't know that you need to have the readout screen. I'm kind of neurotic. I love looking to see the meter to make sure I'm not clipping, or if I have a second person and are talking, I'm doing an interview, I sure as hell don't want the audio to be way off caliber. Later on down the road can be tricky to edit, especially if you're running and gunning and shooting all the audio internally. I know best practices is to shoot not only internally to the camera, but also to a secondary device, a Zoom recorder. You know, sometimes I'll use my Tascam with the Shure SM7B for backup audio. But cool feature with the Rode and the DJI is you can record internally and then plug it into a USB-C and extrapolate the audio. So that's a cool feature. That's a very high-end feature that only the DJI and the Rode have. The Kimafun does not have that that I know of. The Comica does not, and neither does the Hollyland. But they're also a lot less price point, and to be honest, I don't use that recording feature. I know a lot of people ask in the comments about that feature. I just don't use it. It is there. I have used it. It's just I like to keep my workflow as simple as possible. Okay, that was the Comica. Hopefully listen to that 5 minutes or so of talking gives you a good idea how it sounds. I think it's pretty good sound comparatively. Up next, we will do the Hollyland. I've got 2 sets of Hollyland here. Much like the Comica, the Hollyland comes in a small case, even smaller than the Hollyland. So the Hollyland is even smaller than the Comica. So there we go right there. Hollyland, Comica, very, very small in size, especially compared to, say, the Rode. Way, way smaller than the Rode. All right, let's get into the sound on the Hollyland up next. So now we are shooting with the Hollyland microphone. Much like the Comica and the DJI and the Kimafun one, there are 2 microphones, 1 receiver, all included. Much like the DJI and the Comica, the Hollyland has a small, sturdy charging case. There's Comica, Hollyland, DJI. I think the audio is really, really good out of the Hollyland. It is a very small system, but it doesn't have any readout on the levels. As you can see here, it's just going to be a couple of blue dots or green dots if you have the active noise on or off. It does come with a wind screen, a couple of them. The wind screen does not screw on like the Rode, the Kimafun, and the DJI. It simply goes over the microphone like so, but it does provide good protection against the wind. And the price point is about the same as a Comica and right around the same price point as this Kimafun one right here. How does the audio sound compared to the Comica, to the Kimafun? And then lastly, we'll do the Joby with and without the lapel microphones, which is a unique system for a lot of reasons. So let's get into the Joby up next. The last microphone in this comparison is the Joby. This guy right here comes with 2 microphones, 1 receiver. It is the biggest by far of all the microphones. It's the most simple too. It's hard to tell what level. I think it's level 2 out of level 4. It does come with a wind screen that will attach right here. However, the size of this thing is just enormous. I mean, there's the Rode right there. Even the clip is huge. So on a person, it's kind of obnoxious. I have the red side facing in my pocket. However, it does come with a lavalier mic. Look at this. This is not useful. It's huge. But how I would use this system is with the lavalier microphone. And then I would put this somewhere lower on the belt. And again, with the Kimafun one, it's nice to have a lavalier microphone. The lavalier microphone does come with the wind screen right there, which is very, very helpful. Let's place it, yeah, that'll work. And I'll plug it in so we'll see the difference between the microphone by itself right here and the lavalier. Did that go through? It did. Okay, so now we have the lavalier microphone. It's in place. I can bend over. It's not going to fall out of place. I would route this, of course, through my shirt around my back. And I could place this contraption on my belt loop or behind my talon in the lower back right here, out of the way. So if I were going to use this Joby system, this is how I would use it. This is how I have it set up to use for videos. I've used it in videos and it does sound pretty good overall, but using it how I would use the DJI or the Rode, where I just put this in a pocket and it's pretty good to go. In fact, most videos, if you look, you'll see I have the Rode microphone just positioned like this, either here or on my collar, and it works totally fine. So what do you think? We just compared what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 microphones to each other with 2 or 3 different options for them. And each one of these is a good system. Anything's better than using onboard microphones on your cell phone or camera. And sometimes you can't use a shotgun microphone like what I have on top of the camera right now. It's just best to use a wireless microphone so you can walk around, walk and talk. And again, you can face away from the camera and the audio still is the same level of quality. You can be 50 feet away and it still has the same level of quality. Those are all perks of having a wireless microphone. However, there's wide ranges of prices and applications. So hopefully hearing these in this comparison has been helpful. Let me know honestly down below what you think. And again, like I've mentioned, I almost always use the DJI or the Rode or my go-to, so I've invested in them. But over the course of the last year, Comica and Hollyland and Joby and other companies have sent us microphones to test out. Some of them are good enough to make it into the video, like these ones I think are good enough that I would recommend them, but there's plenty out there that are not, that are absolute garbage. You get what you pay for. You pay $35 on Amazon for a wireless microphone, it's probably good. Give you $35 worth of quality. You pay $100, $115, you're going to get what I think is usable content for your TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, fitness professionals, people presenting. That is good. If you are working professionally, there are definitely higher end systems that I'm not even going to touch in this video comparison, but I have found that the DJI and the Rode have been good for my work, paid work, working with clients, YouTube videos, professional seminars. They're very reliable. They're also 2 to 3 times the price. Hopefully, hearing and seeing each of these microphones compared to each other has been helpful. If it has been, thumbs up is always appreciated. If you want to see more content from more microphones, I consider subscribing to the Engearment YouTube channel. And also let us know which one was your favorite. And for what reason? Was it the sound quality? Was it the price point? Was it the features? Let us know. We're all trying to learn from each other. So, as always, I appreciate you checking out the content. I'm Sean Sewell, owner and director of Stoke for Engearment.com. Until next time, take care.